We're not going to extend the Disney copyrights for Mickey Mouse and other characters that are set to expire next year. That's a multi-billion-dollar hit against the company. And conservative parents and families all over this country are in revolt against the mouse because they don't want their kids to be an experimental ground for the kind of sexual engineering of children that is clearly Disney's gambit. We've seen it in the clips. We've seen the kind of bizarre personalities that are at the helm, whether it's a biromantic asexual, a bunch of they, thems, whatever the neo-sexual identities might be. Those are the people who are calling the shots. They're projecting their own kind of bizarre psychology.
Disney, you going too far, yo. Y'all need to relax. Y'all really need to relax. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Sam B with the Tune Up Show right here with another video. So, I did a video on Disney last week, and apparently they're still doubling down on a lot of their antics, a lot of their ideology, where you know they're going to continue to. They're going to continue to drive home the whole narrative of confusing children sexually, gender-wise, and just everything. And like this whole society, honestly, it's really, like I said before in other videos. This society is in for a rude awakening. A lot of these people, they don't get it. Like, this is not changing. None of this is changing. This is not how you change things. You don't tear down. You don't rip down. You don't. Man, look, you don't bother the kids. Okay? You just don't. I say this a lot of times. The only time in the Bible God recommends suicide is when you feel like you want to bother little kids. Okay? God said it'd be best you wrap a millstone around your neck and throw it into the deepest depths of the water. Okay? Well, obviously I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what he said. And you know, I think that this is going to be if this continues, I'm already on record saying that the next protective class will be pedophilia. All right. Now, people, they're going to try to shadow ban. Well, I'm used to it. I don't really care anymore. I just hope that this gets to whoever it needs to get to, and I hope that whoever listens to it, they can get something from it. The first thing we need to do as a whole is they need to regulate and most likely ratify the LGBTQ plus community. They're literally the new mafia. You know, they don't have to answer for what for their actions. They don't have to explain themselves. They just do. When was that ever okay for any community or any society of people to just be allowed to do what they want, say what they want, and not explain themselves? When was that ever allowed? But I want to get on this subject real fast. This is Fox News, and apparently, this is the journalist that actually went in and exposed Disney for a lot of the things that they're doing. So I'm going to watch this and I'm going to chime in as they go along.
Joining me now is the journalist who obtained all of those Disney videos, Chris Rufo, Manhattan Institute Senior Fellow. Also joining me is Amla Epunobi, PragerU personality, former left-wing activist. All right, Chris, you are, speaking of thorns in the side of these woke corporations, Disney went on to write that the only option for corporate leaders is to stand tall for authenticity, generosity, joy, and decency. These things are kryptonite for the right-wing agenda. Fortunately, they are also the heart and soul of the Disney brand. Well,
and see, and that's more witch talk, more witch talk. You know, everything is good is bad and bad is good. I just want to rewind it back. Actually, I'm gonna go. Like I said, I'm gonna go through it again. So when they say the only option for corporate leaders is to the only option for corporate leaders is to stand tall for authenticity, generosity, joy, and decency. These things are kryptonite for the right-wing agenda. Okay, and the only reason why this was worded like that was because they and it said, fortunately, they are also the heart and soul of the Disney brand. If you look back into Disney's past, Disney has always been. There's an institute called the Cavistock Institute. Apparently, that's where like all your rock bands were formed, and what's it called? The Beatles, they were put together there. I think the Rolling Stones, they were put together there. It's all about brainwashing. It's all about conditioning the masses into what they wanted. I mean, it's not a secret that the Beatles, they wrote their music in witch language, to where obviously with subliminal messaging and backmasking throughout all their records. They're singing about one thing, and then next thing you know, it's in your subconscious, it's something totally different. But the only reason why I bring that up is because Disney has always been, they managed to put people under MK Ultra. MK Ultra is very real. It's not a conspiracy theory. A lot of their, let's be honest. I mean, I did a whole video where Disney staff, these guys, the guys are either all rapists or they're all pedophiles. I mean, it's almost like to be in a Democratic Party or to work for Disney or Google, you got to be either part of the Rainbow Crew or you got to have some kind of mental disorder where they'll try to pawn it off as like it's your superpower, and it's just getting ridiculous, But I'm gonna let him finish, and I'm gonna chime in.
Brand, well, everyone counts except all of these kind of moderate Americans who just want to go and have fun and not be proselytized to, or not have their kids turned into sexual points of perversion for teachers. Your reaction to this?
Yeah, I mean, it really is the case that Disney claims to be standing tall, but you saw the video. CEO Bob Chapek, someone who earns $32.5 million a year as his base salary, is just absolutely degrading himself every day, day in and day out. And the reality is that the conservatives in this country have dealt a major blow to Walt Disney. In Florida, legislators are looking at taking away their special tax breaks. In Congress and D.C., conservatives had said, we're not going to extend the Disney copyrights for Mickey Mouse and other characters that are set to expire next year. That's a multi-billion-dollar hit against the company. And conservative parents and families all over this country are in revolt against the mouse because they don't want their kids to be an experimental ground for the kind of sexual engineering of children that is clearly Disney's gambit. We've seen it in the clips. We've seen the kind of bizarre personalities that are at the helm, whether it's a biromantic asexual, a bunch of they, thems, whatever the neo-sexual identities might be. Those are the people who are calling the shots. They're projecting their own kind of bizarre psychologies onto the CEO, who just backs down every day.
Right. I mean, and you don't even have to go into, too much into reality with Disney. Look at the movies they put out. I mean, every single movie they put out it's some kind of princess programming. You know, that's why you got grown ass women running around thinking they princesses and carrying on. Okay, this stuff is deeply ingrained into our society, and they made sure that. Okay, there's plenty of. I'm actually going to go over it. I can't find it though, because YouTube, like I said, they do a phenomenal job on taking down videos that go against their woke agenda. Okay, so I if I find it, I'll just do the video right after this one. But Disney, I mean, what, the past 75, 100 years? I mean, these people, they put out everything. Everything has like a pedophilia undertone, or these days overtone, or it's like, it's just a real creepy. You know, you watch most of these Disney movies. Like I watch some of the Disney movies, not watch, but I think about them now. And the one video that stuck out to me with Disney was 101 Dalmatians, animated one. Now, mind you, I mean, of course, you know, I love my mom, love her to death, but I didn't like that. I never liked it. I didn't like that movie. I'd rather have been watching Spider-Man or something, or Batman. And a lot of people would, you put your kids in front of these movies and you don't understand the kind of programming and the conditioning that Disney put your children under. In the movie 101 Dalmatians, you had this crazy bat of a woman that was literally hunting down dogs, skinning them alive, and making coats out of them. I mean, who thinks of stuff like that? Who would think to make a movie about that and say it's okay for little kids? Would you let Jeffrey Dahmer babysit your children? I don't think so. But you'll sit them in front of 101 Dalmatians and watch Cruella de Vil act a damn fool throughout the whole movie. You'll do that though, right? See, that's just the problem though. And see, I'm glad for people like Chris Rufo, who they go out their way and they expose stuff like this, because and even though it's not top news, it's not trending on TikTok, you know, it's not getting 1,000 likes or whatever, or millions of likes, and you know, there's no twerking in it. I get all that. Okay, you degenerate bunch you are. Okay, I get all that. This type of stuff is not to your liking, but it's not supposed to be to your liking. It's here to wake you up. It's here to and I could care less if I trend or not. Honestly, I really don't, because me personally, I'm sick of this mess. Okay, I'm sick of it, and it needs to stop. It really does.
Now, Amala, as I said, they're targeting your generation. You're Gen Z, right?
Right, I am.
Yes.
I
hate all the names. I hate the names of the generations. They're all stupid, but it's so dumb. But they admit that's the group they're after. My point is,
you know, every time Laura Ingraham talked, it just seems like she's sick of everything. Like she just always has like that. She always has like that disgusted look on her face, man. I hope everything's okay at home with her, because I mean she's a pretty good news anchor, but she just always looks disgusted anyway. Every time she gets on air, so who knows what goes on in her head all the time. But this is a good clip. This is a good story.
Most of the Gen Zers aren't going to pay $300 for whatever it costs for a park hopper pass. They're going to pay that. Their parents or their grandparents pay it, and they're not going to want to foot these bills. Your reaction to all
exactly.
of this?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think what their motive here is to get children while they're young and infiltrate their minds with this sort of ideology, because they know that if they get these children at a young age, it will stick, as it did with me when I was a young leftist. That stuck with me into young adulthood. So that is really the goal here. I think what they failed to recognize is the power of parents, and that parents are really awake to the indoctrination that they're trying to push on their children. We're seeing them protest at Disney. We're seeing them cancel their Disney Plus subscriptions, and they're sending letters letters to these executives saying, I will not tolerate you thinking that you are the parent of my child and that you get to dictate what my child learns. And we're seeing the horrific outcomes of children learning this sort of gender theory, not just here on Disney, but in school and in mainstream media and social media. It's devastating.
Well, Pete, I'm going to get to one more of the videos, but before we do that, Pete Buttigieg revealed his thoughts, guys, on the Florida bill, and he did this morning. Watch.
Your husband, Chasten, he's been a vocal critic of what's going on in my state of Florida with the so-called Don't Say Gay law now, which he says will kill kids. Do you agree?
Yeah, he's right. And I think every law ought to be judged for the effect it's going to have on real people. This is going to hurt people.
Well, Chris.
Well, I get why, he'll come out of his mouth and say something like that because, he's part of the Rainbow Crew too. But see, that's how inverted this society is, and what the girl was saying about, it's sticking with you as a kid and goes into your adulthood. That's what it's meant for. That's why it's called conditioning. That's why it's called brainwashing. That's why it's called mind control. Disney, they're like I said, their movies are full of it. There was a girl that played on a Disney show called iCarly, and she came out with a documentary on pretty much the evils of show business. And no, I'm sorry, that was Nickelodeon. Well, Nickelodeon and Disney, they run hand in hand anyway. So they'll like those kids that grow up in those Disney kids or Nickelodeon kids, a lot of them, they don't ever really make it out of those studios, those organizations. Like some of them make it out okay, but some of them, like the Corey Haines of the world, and a lot of these guys, they don't make it out, man, because it's nothing that's not being heard of. It's happening. You got these producers, the executive producers, these directors, these people that deal with these kids on screen and off screen while making these TV shows, okay? And they're messing with their heads. They're most likely they're all sexualizing them. And Disney they're not backing down. They're gonna continue. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. They're gonna continue to double down on their ideology, and that's all they're gonna do. So the best thing you can do as a parent is just be mindful what your kids are watching. You don't have to always reach for a Disney tape or anything. You don't always have to reach for that. Give them a book, teach them how to read. And another thing is, parents have to start being parents again. Once this society showed exactly how little they care about my well-being, and especially my son's well-being, I knew that I had to fight to be a parent in today's age. Because see, anybody can just, be a protocol parent. You do the bare minimum. You have your 2 vacations a year, and 7:00 Sunday night dinner with the family. Yeah, that's all fine. Cliches are great, but are you really truly being a real parent, or are you letting these organizations like Disney, Nickelodeon, are you just letting them raise your kids? That's a question that everyone has to answer. But that's the show right there. Disney, hey, I don't recommend Disney to anybody. Just find another outlet, seriously. But that's the show. I'm Sam B. I'm out of here. Peace.